All right, welcome back. You know, every time you fire up a website or an app, you're basically stepping into a world that someone built with code. But what if we could find the original architect's plans? Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to deconstruct an entire digital experience using nothing but its style sheet. It's time to read the blueprint.
I mean, think about it for a second. Can a simple text file really tell you about the mood, the priorities, and even the core values of a piece of software? You might be surprised, but the answer is a huge yes. Because that file, it isn't just a boring list of commands.
It is the blueprint. And today, we're the ones with the hard hats on. We're going to excavate this thing, peeling back the layers line by line to uncover the story it was built to tell.
So where do we start? With every digital world, it's all about that first impression. Let's dig in and see how this blueprint immediately creates this really distinct, futuristic vibe the second you land. Okay, so check this out. The very first clue in the blueprint is the typography, the fonts. For any big titles, it calls for a font called Orbitron. It's super bold, it's wide, it feels like it was ripped right off the side of a spaceship. But then, for all the nitty-gritty data, it switches to JetBrains Mono. And this one is clean, it's technical, it's almost like you're staring at an old-school computer terminal. So right away, before you've even seen a button, the scene is set. This place is high-tech, and it's all about precision.
Now let's look at something super simple, a button. On the left, you see its default state. It's mostly see-through with this cool glowing green border. But the blueprint also defines what happens when your mouse goes over it. Notice how the background just flips to solid green. But here's the magic trick. It's this last line, transition all 0.2s. That tiny instruction is what makes the change feel so smooth and satisfying. Instead of just being an instant, jarring switch, it's all about that little bit of polish.
So how do you find your way around this world? Well, the blueprint tells us that navigation is literally guided by light. When a tab isn't active, it's just this muted gray. But the blueprint has a special style, a class called .active, that kicks in for whatever tab you're on. And all it does is change the bottom border to that bright, vibrant green. It's such an elegant little solution, a subtle glow that says, clear as day, you are here.
So, we've got the mood set. Now let's move on to the next part of the blueprint and see how this world is designed to engineer excitement around its biggest features.
And here it is, the main event. Look at the styles for this primary spin button. By default, it's already got this green box shadow, which gives it a nice subtle glow. But when you hover over it, oh man, the blueprint dials everything up to 11. That glow just explodes. The radius jumps from 30 pixels to 50, and it gets brighter. And at the exact same time, the transform property makes it feel like it's lifting up off the page by 2 pixels. That combination of light and movement, it just makes the button feel powerful, irresistible. It's begging to be clicked.
So the really clever part here is how they're using box shadow. Normally, you'd think of it for, making a shadow to create depth. But look at the blueprint. They're using a color with transparency. So the result isn't a shadow at all, it's a futuristic neon glow. It's a fantastic little hack, just repurposing a standard tool to hammer home that high-tech theme.
Of course, after you click that button, you might actually win. And the blueprint shows that this isn't just some small thing. It's designed to feel like a huge event. When you win, a little window appears, but it doesn't just fade in. Oh no, the code specifies something way more celebratory.
And this little recipe right here, this is the secret sauce. The blueprint defines a custom animation it calls pop in. It tells the win modal, okay, start at 70% of your final size and be completely invisible. Then, in a fraction of a second, it animates to full size and becomes totally visible. This is what creates that super satisfying pop on the screen. It just makes the reward feel that much bigger and more exciting.
But this world isn't just about one game. The next section of the blueprint shows us how it builds a consistent visual language for risk and reward, no matter what you're playing.
Take the Plinko game, for example. The player gets to choose their own risk level, and the blueprint handles this so elegantly. There are just 3 classes, one for low, one for mid, and one for high. And they use the universal language of traffic lights, right? Green means safe, gold or yellow means caution, and red means danger. The stakes are communicated instantly, with just color, no extra words needed. It's brilliant.
And that visual language gets even more sophisticated in the Mines game. When you click a cell, the feedback is immediate. A safe cell gets that familiar green background and border, and it plays this satisfying little reveal animation. But a bomb, it flashes red, and it plays a totally different animation called shake.
The interface literally shutters on screen, giving you this visceral gut punch of feedback that, yep, you made the wrong choice.
Okay, so this digital world isn't just about playing games solo. It's also designed for connecting people. This next section of the blueprint reveals a really clear focus on building a social engine.
Here, we're looking at the plans for the affiliate dashboard. The layout is handled by a property called Display Grid, which is really just a fancy way of telling all the items, hey, line up in a neat grid for me. But notice the typography again. The big, important numbers use that bold sci-fi Orbitron font, making them the hero. But the labels underneath? They use the clean, technical JetBrains mono. This creates a super clear visual hierarchy. It tells your eyes exactly what to look at first.
And see, the blueprint isn't just showing data, it's pushing you to take action. The styling for the referral link box and that copy button makes them really prominent, easy-to-use elements. That glowing green button is a classic call to action. The architecture is explicitly designed to make sharing as easy as a single click.
All right, now we're getting to the deepest layer of the blueprint. This is where the design goes way beyond just fun and community and starts to build something much more fundamental: trust.
Buried deep inside the CSS, we find something new, a new color and new kinds of elements. We see styles for things like a .zk card and a .zk badge, and they're all styled with this very specific purple color. This is our first clue that there's some deeper, more advanced technology at play here, something to do with verification and proof.
And these visual clues lead us right to a big question. What exactly is this ZK thing the blueprint is designing for? What in the world is a zero-knowledge proof? To put it simply, it's a kind of cryptographic magic trick. It's a way for a system to prove to you that something is true, like say that a game's outcome was totally fair, without ever revealing the secret data that made it true. It's the digital equivalent of proving you know a secret password without ever having to say the password out loud. And the blueprint gives this advanced technology its own unique authoritative look. Verified info gets placed in these special purple-bordered cards. The long, complex cryptographic hashes, which are like unique fingerprints for data, are displayed in that technical, monospaced font. And the verified status? It's shown with a green dot that has its own custom pulsing animation. Every single choice here is designed to make these proofs feel secure, alive, and completely trustworthy. So as we zoom out, the whole picture just snaps into focus. From the very first font choice that sets the sci-fi mood, to the animations that make winning feel incredible, to the color-coded risk systems, and all the way to the visual language of cryptographic trust, every single line in this blueprint was a deliberate choice. And together, they build a cohesive world based on futuristic fun, social connection, and verifiable trust.
And that really leaves you with one big thought. This was the story hidden in just one style sheet. What hidden blueprints, what deliberate choices are shaping your experience in the apps and websites you use every single day. Once you start looking for them, you'll see them absolutely everywhere. Thanks for digging in with me.